have Dr. Richard Myles that's here with us today. Outstanding young man. He was a true pro football player with the Patriots, I believe, and actually he was one of the ones that was recruited to help put him on the road to what they eventually became. So, Richard, thank you for doing that. And he's here because, well, one, we met. Secondly, he has a most interesting background. He does have radio and TV productions. He's an educator. He's a pastor. I'm not sure how many things he's not, but the list is very long. I won't go into those. But he has 32 MFL teams, minor football league, which I had never heard of before. So he embarrassed me instantly. And but this is a feeder system, kind of like what you have with the minors for baseball and also basketball. And he has 32 teams, and he's created these, and it's just amazing. But what's even more amazing, he has 16 such teams on the African continent, which I find absolutely amazing. Medicine, water, all kinds of projects that we can collaborate on through Rotary on the African continent, because everywhere he has a team, there are multiple Rotary clubs. And so we need to really, he has a feeder system for, the NFL, even from the African continent, but also for Rotary itself. So I think there's a lot of synergy here. But he's going to talk about the football, of course, but he's looking at it from the standpoint of education. Is how do we reach down into these communities, whether it's in Washington, D.C. or Biloxi, Mississippi, or, Anaheim, California, places that are challenged, and so these people need a chance. And so, as we know, there's tens of thousands of kids all over the United States that play football, but there's only one out of these, thousands, tens of thousands that ever make it to the NFL. This is an example of someone who did, but he wants to give back, and that's why he's here today to talk about that give back. Also, the synergies that we have between sports, Rotary, and local economic development, humanitarian development. So a lot to do in only 20 minutes, Richard. We're glad you're here. Give him a round of applause.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm glad to have this invite because I know what kind of prestigious club this is, and to get on the ballot this early, so that means somebody paying attention to us. But I'll tell you briefly about the league. The MFL is the laboratory of change. And what I mean by that, we want to bring former players from the field to the front office, something that the NFL is not doing. And more importantly, we want you to understand, we want these young men to understand beyond the field what happened when you no longer can play the game of football. We want them to understand what economic development is. We want them to understand what generational wealth looks like. But more importantly, what's more dear to my heart is our programs we have working with at-risk youth. And our programs is outreach, education, prevention. And we have some very unique programs: No Thugs, No Drugs, Early Youth Offenders Program, Conflict Resolution, Just Like Me, Young Entrepreneur Programs. These are the type of programs that, these are national programs that we've been doing for years. And in spite of y'all never heard of the MFL, and that's good, but if you Google it, you'll find it come up everywhere. But I'm really excited about being a part of this, because what we're trying to do is be a part and get everybody else a part of this laboratory of change, because that's what this is, the laboratory of change. And I'm very saddened by a lot of things going on with our young kids. And sometimes when you're doing programs, if they're not working, it's time to change them. And everybody's been asking me over the last couple of years, when are y'all going to intervene? But you can be a jack of all trades, master of none. So I try to do one thing and do it well. What we're doing with the MFL and over Africa is different. It's unique because most people over in Africa, they understand, what is it? our football is their soccer. You know, that's football over there. But you'd be surprised that a lot of people are very knowledgeable about American football. But it's not just about football. I want them to understand what the change is about what the MFL is doing. And as you so eloquently say, I am a chaplain. So if I get to preach a little bit, just look at me funny, y'all. And then I'll know, I know not to do that. But it's important that what we are doing is important with the collaboration of what the MFL is doing and what the Rotary Club is doing. And I'm just excited about some of the things that we are doing. And I think that once people get an opportunity to talk with us, speak with us, and see all the things that we're doing, I'm quite sure somewhere you'll find your organization will fit into this. Now, like I said, I'm going to be very mindful of the time. So if you have any questions, just fire away.
Hi, Ebony Payne here, candidate for Ward 7 DC Council, and I have RFK Stadium in my single member district. And actually, I'm very curious if there's any local programs that you're doing here in DC with our football team.
It's strange you should say RFK Stadium. I always say it's near and dear to my heart because I'm a native Washingtonian, and I played there when we was in high school, when they used to have their All-Star game. And I think the RFK is a great area, and I'm glad they finally going to build a new stadium. But to answer your question in terms of what we're doing in the community, our program's been here for a while, a long time. We even got a grant from the council before. But I admit, because we also been doing programs in Montgomery County, in Virginia, and as I stated a little earlier, you can be a jack of all trades, best of none. More fortunately, we get more and more interns in that are allowing us to implement these programs in other places. But you in Ward 7, if we can do anything to help you and implement our programs, we'd be glad. I'd be glad to talk with you about that.
My name is Kenny Barnes, and I certainly would like to know more about your programs.
Absolutely, and Mr. Barnes, I don't know if you remember me, but when I started this league, you invited me on your show when you did, and unfortunately, I remember when you lost your son. As I stated earlier, I am a native Washingtonian, so I'm very aware of who you are and all the great things that you're doing. And like I said, a lot of people are aware of what I do in the city. But going back to what I was saying, you can't be everywhere at one time. But I was more than likely, because I know Miss Ali down there. I know her sons and her daughters. So I'll be glad to come there and speak with you on the programs and what we're doing, especially the No Thugs, No Drugs program. A lot of people, we like the name of that, but it's not because the name sounds good. The program is named that because drugs don't walk in your neighborhood. You get rid of the thugs, you get rid of the drugs. So that's a program where we do, we implement, and by the way, all of our players have to do 100 hours of community service. So we make sure we don't want you there watching us on Saturday nights. We want you to understand we are in the community. These are young men that went away to college and came back, as he stated before. A lot of people not going to get an opportunity to go to the National Football League. It's thousands and thousands of players come out every year, but it's only 32 NFL teams and thousands of colleges across the country, and then you do the math. And it's not that you're not good enough. It's not enough room in the NFL. So my programs, I would love to come and talk with you about it, especially early youth offenders program, because once these young people get in the system, you and I know it's hard for them to get out of it.
Thank you. So my question, so I know you have the programs. I've been on your show before, so I know kind of what you do, but I wanted to know, is there a sports component to, helping the young people who are in the community along? So like, is it only education, or is it sports and education? Is it sports and work, or How does it connect?
Absolutely. It's a combination of all of the things that you just stated, because, when you look at athletes, a lot of kids, and I used to always say, I used to get in trouble for it when I played. Kids look up to athletes, but I want them to understand that athletes are human and they make mistakes too. So as soon as something happened, you got them on this pedestal, you're ready to tear them down. But don't forget, these are young individuals. Most of the time, if you look at where these young men come from, they're not born into money. They're not used to it. Therefore, they don't understand the workings of money. They don't understand what money means and what it does for them. And they're running by a car and it's shoes and whatever, but it's there to help you with your family for generations. But all the time, we don't understand that. So what I try to do is it's an attraction. Most people come out of school because sports is a common denominator around the world. We can fuss with each other, but for 3 hours we can be friends for watching the football or whatever type of sports on. We're gonna have that camaraderie there. But no, it's definitely the football, the sports part of it, but we want them to understand it ain't about just sports. It is about educating these young people in terms of money. They educate them in terms of how you act in your community. And you have a lot of young men, they feel like if they don't make the NFL, then they're not relevant, and that's not true. You still have relevancy, no matter what. These young men have their degrees, and some of them don't, but they've been playing sports so long that you've been playing it since you were 6 or 7, and that's all you built up for that. And when cannot make a professional team, then you have a tendency to feel like everything is lost. But the MFL show you that this is an alternative, And I'm not telling people when you come to the MFL, you're going to go to the NFL, but it's true, we had a lot of people to go, but that's not the focus. I don't want them to come here thinking, I play in the MFL, I'm automatically going to the National Football League. No, but we had some very prominent people that came to this league that a lot of y'all probably heard of. Eric Swan, he didn't even go to, he came out of high school, played in the league, and then he went into the pros. Bird Word. You had these notable names that played in the NFL that came through the MFL. So sometimes God has a way of, you're going to get there. It's not going to be the path that you think you're going to follow. Sometimes you have to go around or certain, he's got plans for you to go other ways. So good question.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for coming and visiting us. I have a question for you. In our club and in Rotary in general, we have international service committees. And our committee is involved in fostering and supporting a number of programs in different countries. And Africa, the African continent, is one of the places where we do have roots, we have collaborations, and we have programs. So I'd like to know if you could share with us a bit your vision, for Africa, for example, and if you have already implemented programs there and what it looks like.
Good question. We have Dr. Charles Alawali that's here. He's from Nigeria. He's the president of NFL Africa. What we see as a whole with it, first of all, it's like I say, education-wise and knowledgeable. People are very knowledgeable about American football. What we see is I want to put a league, half of the league over there, because a lot of times they can't get here because you have to get work visas and all that. But having a part of the MFL over there, putting these teams in different countries like Egypt, Sierra Leone, and we have talked to a lot of countries, and matter of fact, we're on our way back over there. But as you know, the United States has what they call a blacklist. You're only allowed to talk to certain countries over there. I was not aware of that. I thought I could just go over. But we had a great conversation with the ambassador for the African Union. She's great. And the one before her, procedure before her, we met. So this is not something I'm just jumping into and think that it's going to be easy. I know the drawbacks that you're going to have going there, but that's not going to deter me from doing this. It's something that's needed there. A lot of businesses over here in America, Africa, asking for American business to come over there. And I know in speaking with her, she said, well, you know, Dr. Myles, if the MFL come, could you talk other companies in America that come? I said, well, to be honest with you, whether they come or not, the MFL is coming. So we're coming there. I can't speak for other companies. So I envision having a league over there, but not just putting a Band-Aid on it. We're not going to do the Ali and Foreman fight. We're not going to do that. When we come over there, we want to bring the kids up from grade school. We want to teach them there so they can be very knowledgeable and understand the game as a whole. And then we want to have little leagues over there, then junior leagues, and then a college, and then the minor professional league. So we also want to implement the programs that we have here over there. So across the board, everything we do here, we want to do it over there in Africa. And as you know, Africa is a continent. It's not a country. So you have individual countries over there. And it's a little getting through, as you know that. But, you know, like I said, I do have people that are very knowledgeable and from Africa, you know, they're aboard with us and they're helping us. And I just, the only problem I have is the flight over there. Every time I go on that flight, it's just, man, it's a lot on me. Maybe I'm getting old or something, I guess, but I enjoy it over there. I think it's a beautiful country. I think they're doing some great things, but they need help. We need help here in America as well. So it's just a matter of us collaborating and see what fits and what works. But we're in it for the long haul. We're not just, you know, we're not coming with a Band-Aid. We're not going to do that.
Thank you for coming here today. And I wonder if you could just back up and tell us a little bit more about the program, like where we could see a game and, you know, where they're active playing here in this country.
Absolutely. We're a carbon copy of the National Football League. And what I mean by that, the rules are the same. We broke up in divisions. As you know, I'm not the NFL. They have all the money. We just look good. We do things the right way. But this is the Mid-Atlantic Division on the East Coast, and that consists of the Washington Chiefs, the Maryland Colts. You know, we have the Georgia Warriors down in Georgia. I have the North Carolina team, the South Carolina team, and the New Jersey team. So that is the Mid-Atlantic Division. We try to keep everything geographically close because it helps in terms of, you know, money. We want to make sure teams are is no more than 3 or 4 hours from one another. We keep our teams in different parts of the country, so we don't have 2 teams in, like, say, for instance, Washington, D.C. The great thing about, you know, on the East Coast, you know, Maryland is just like if you go up D.C., you left D.C. If you go down, you're in Virginia, but they still different municipalities. So you can say we start the season in June. It's a 10-game schedule. You play 5 at home, 5 away. Each division is sent a champion to the playoff. More importantly, what we do with this, we also have our foundation, what we do with young kids, which is a 501c3. We take guys out of college. And like I say, it's very important that they understand what we're just teaching them, not just football. We teach them what economic development is. We teach them beyond the field, what happened when you came on the field. So it entails a lot here. You're not just coming here playing football. But to answer your question more clearly, yeah, we have our schedule up. If you go to our website, you'll see it. You'll see who the teams are and where they are. It's very affordable entertainment. We do a season ticket for $100 before people coming on that one ticket. So we try to keep everything cost effective. We have our own apparel, just like the NFL. You can buy apparel off the website and stuff. So these are the things that the league doing. We mimic the MFL with the difference of the laboratory of change. We're doing things that they're not doing at all. And they don't have to. They've been around a long time. They got all the money. They got the big sponsors and stuff. But I always say, thank God for social media now. Had not been for that, you wouldn't know about the MFL. Now we have our own MFL network and stuff. So, you know, as I state, give us some time. We'll be there. The NFL looks good. Everybody know the glory, but you don't know the story behind it. The NFL folded and so many times. A lot of people know they started with 80 teams. Now they're down to, so it's a process. And then, what they new to, we true to. So we've been here a long time. And it's not just me, it's other guys that played in the league this year. We lost our president 4 months ago, Bobby Wilson. He was the Redskin #1 draft choice out of Michigan State in '92. That was the last Super Bowl they won. Fred Smoot. So we have former players here working with us. But, sometimes people will like what you're doing, but they won't openly acknowledge it, if you know what I mean, if that makes sense. They want to still wait and see. But we've been here a long time. A lot of y'all probably don't realize we celebrating 30 years this year of the MFL. So we've been here, and you look at us, you name it, we won awards, but that don't mean anything. What's important to us is what these young kids getting out of this. We want them to understand this is an opportunity that you don't find outside of college or professional football. So, those are the things I'm more proud of. And more importantly, like I say, hopefully that answers your question. The schedule is there and everything.
I want to just get an idea as to how you recruit your talent for this. I mean, do you actively work with the high schools and the colleges? I mean, to bring people into it?
No, we don't touch the high schools. We can't do that. Because kids have to be a certain age, and we do the same thing. Like I said, the NFL do. We get players out of college, and like I said, there's plenty of players there. We mostly target the Division II schools that don't get any attention, and Division III schools. I'm sorry. Yeah, well, young adults. We'll sign them. They have to be like 18 or 19, and our limitation for the players. We have to be just 31. We don't want nobody out there my age trying to play, But these young people, like I say, they so geared upon thinking that they're going to the National Football League. And it's all right to dream, but sometimes you have to wake up from the dream. And like I say, we provide that opportunity. But we're at the different colleges and we recruit there.
Yeah, I have a quick question. I didn't understand what you said. I think you talked about RFK and you said, I'm so glad they're going to build that again. Do you know that for a fact, or is that going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, she probably know they get ready to tear that down.
Maybe I should ask her.
Yeah.
Are they going to build a stadium at RFK?
Well, yes, they're going to build a stadium there. And I know that for a fact. But they're going to bring the Washington team back into D.C. And they had a problem before. They almost had the team to come back, but the stadium that they're in, that the Nationals in, that was supposed to be built for Washington to bring the Washington football team back. But when it fell due, that would happen. But it's no better place to put it in terms of, to get there. So it'll happen. Yes, sir. Take my word for it, And you might not mean much. You said Dr. Myles was right. Yeah, it makes sense though,
So I have two questions. Do the leagues like the USFL, the Canadian Football League, Arena Football League, do they recruit from your young men?
They recruit if they can get them. And, I'm going to say this, and a lot of people, and I get kudos to all the leagues. I told them when the Alliance Football League and all of them start, I say they won't make it. And everybody said, oh, you're just a little jealous, Dr. Myles. I said, no, because first of all, the biggest mistake is you're not the NFL, first and foremost. And that's not the basics. They started them organizations. You can't pay for TV. TV have to pay you. And that's why a lot of them folded. And Right now, you see they have to combine the two leagues. Now they have 8 teams. That's because you're trying to be the NFL. People ask me all the time, are y'all trying to be like the NFL, Dr. Myles? I said, no, they who they are, we who we are. We're not trying to be something that we're not. That's why we still here. And I'm not, I wish the best for everybody, but I wouldn't be surprised if this won't be the last year or maybe another year for the XFL and the UFL fold.
My next question is, you read a lot about past NFL players, retired players, going bankrupt, right? They got these big contracts, they made a lot of money, and it's gone. And it takes a while to even get the big contract. So does your organization teach financial management classes? How do you teach them about how to manage their money so they're not giving it away to all their buddies from the neighborhood?
Absolutely. You have to teach them financial literacy. I mean, that's just a giving. That's why we have the program Beyond the Field, because what happens, and in terms of the big contracts, the realization, I think the public only hear what, you know, what the media projects or put out there. Oh, he signed for 50 million and all that, but they don't understand. There's a couple of things they missing. You got to pay your agent, okay? You pay taxes everywhere you play at. God forbid if you was married or you just had kids, because they have to live the same lifestyle you live. So that money that you think you see on paper, you really don't have that money. So it's not what people really think. It looks good when you say this guy get $30 million a year, but he's really not getting $30 million. If he got kids, that comes out. His agent, that comes out. So it's a lot of different. Their money goes to other places. So he's living pretty good, but not like you think. And then we're not used to having money, so we go do foolish things. Cars, 2 or 3, we don't need them. Big house, 30 rooms, we don't really need that. So no, they don't understand. Yeah, we have to teach them about money.
In your organization, the number of young generation, the number of younger people
that we work with?
Yeah, that you've been working with from the beginning to now.
Oh no, maybe hundreds, thousands of people, because you're thinking about, we had different franchises in different cities, okay? So you look at the population of these cities and the people that we engage all the time. So it's the numbers is really, really phenomenal. It's really big.
Dr. Myles, thank you so much. I have so much respect for you, because I know this is not an easy job. It's not an easy job. And when you're working with young people who you're trying to teach literacy to, as you know, from Kelsey, your significant other, you get a tree planted in your honor as being a speaker here at our club, and you will be able to also find the coordinates of your tree